play on Perjangers. Enjoy the show.
We might as well start off on this because Nope or Dope, our first episode was it was Acolyte, and we both really liked it. And not to get on that train again, but episode 2 for us is going to be none other than The Penguin on HBO Max with Colin Farrell. How have you been? And did you, first up, we'll give it overall. Did you enjoy it? And then we'll get into the nitty gritty of the series. So overall, I really enjoyed it. How did you?
No, I loved it. It was a great show, man. They ain't missed not one week. And that's the first show in a long time that I made sure I watched it either the night that it came out or the very next morning. There wasn't no waiting with that.
I sit here and before I go to work, I'm like, oh my God, it's Monday. Oh, I have to watch it. It was one of those shows, just like House of Dragon, like you're saying. It was one of those things that you're just like, I can't wait to see what the next episode is.
Yeah, it was really good, man. It's kind of, I wonder what Batman was doing in the middle of all that.
Right?
I guess we get into that later, but
we will get, especially at one point in the plot, like, where was Batman?
He might have still been recovering.
Most of the stuff I see that. Like, all right, most of the stuff he probably had something else going on. He was recovering, stuff like that. But like, there's one point in this plot we'll get to that it's like you didn't even check it out. You
gotta come outside.
Alfred,
Green Lantern, or somebody.
Alfred, go check it out. It looked fun, Master Bruce. You don't need to go, oh my God, it was horrible out there. I should not tell him about that. No, it was fun, Master Bruce. It was fun. Mm-hmm. Oh, good. I can sleep easy. Maybe it was Alfred's fault. You don't know, you know? I mean, he is looking after Bruce's best care, you know? I love how this series starts. Because when the Matt Reeves Batman movie came out, all nerds were rejoicing because it won awards. It was superhero films are films again. And then it's like, oh no, hold your hat. We're doing a TV series. And they went into this right because it felt just like that Matt Reeves Batman universe. You know, it felt like from the jump, Carmine Falcone is dead. Penguin shoots Alberto Falcone. And then he meets Victor. And that's like the first couple minutes of this series. It feels like you're spoiling the whole series, but it's the first couple minutes. And
no, we spoiling today.
Oh yeah,
it's the series over, so be prepared.
Oh yeah, no, you had your time. But that's the thing of when they meet, you know, it's like he just got done killing someone because he was making fun of him. And then
that was crazy.
And then he shoots at some kids trying to boost his rims. And he's like, you know what? I got your ID. I know where you live. Let's go. But the big thing about Victor is his stutter. And I remember you mentioning something on social media about that, of like, where is this character going? You know, I felt the stutter was a really good character trait for this character because it shows like emotional trauma, but it shows depth, you know, like this character has gone through some shit and he's still just trying to survive, trying to barely grasp on to this opportunity that Colin Farrell's Penguin gives him.
Yeah. I like Vic. Vic was the only thing about the show. The decision to make Vic black was the only thing I didn't like about the thing. That's what I was talking about on social media. Other than that, and it's not even enough to make me not like the show. It's just a weird decision because how his relationship to Eyes and how subservient he is throughout the series and where it all ended up for him. It's like,
yeah, I get that.
Basically, it becomes a trope more than anything.
Yeah.
And it's not enough to overshadow the greatness of the show.
Yes.
But it was a thing. So
yeah. No, I get that. I do get that. And I did pick that up. I'm like, all right, well, this is where you're going. I mean, I tried to let the show breathe and let it be its own thing because I also saw it as very much a period piece. You know, it's not today. This is taking Batman into the real world, and it's his villains. That's a thing that I really loved about this series is that it gave, like, I remember when they were talking about this series, and there were rumors of a Penguin series after this Matt Reeves series. We were still doing the Triforce podcast on this network, and I said, "Do we need this?" And who would have thought?
No.
Once again, I was wrong. No, everybody believes that, but who would have thought that you really could make this?
In there, man. It was crazy how hard they was working to like really pull you into this world and pull everything about the Penguin into a more grounded and real life situation. So now you seeing like, okay, he really is a threat and a menace and a villain, not just some wacky dude with a monocle and a pointy nose and an umbrella gun.
And that's the thing I was talking to Matt Kennedy about, and I was like, this series made me appreciate how they actually did change his last name. Because in the Batman, it was like Oswald Cobb. Oh, you're doing that? But it's taking that eliteness away from him that the Danny DeVito character did. Because Danny DeVito was this, shunned rich family that lost it all, that had a thing against the Waynes. Different Penguin. This is a Penguin who is almost, like those mobsters you heard about in the old days who take care of the neighborhood and they protect his racket. This is Penguin becoming one of those guys who that's how he becomes a kingpin in Gotham, is that he is believing in the neighborhood of, if I pay them well enough, they will keep their goddamn mouth shut. And that's what sells it.
Super believable, man. It's not even if I pay them well enough, they're gonna be loyal. These dudes ain't got nothing, and ain't nobody giving them nothing. So I'm coming around with the the Christmas turkeys and everything else, and I'm getting the lights on inside of your neighborhood. I'm putting money in your pocket.
He kills Alberto Falcone and then takes his drug game idea, and then his sister shows up, and that is the big thorn in the side for Penguin. This entire series is Sophia Falcone Gigante.
So shout out to Sophia too.
Oh my God, brilliant!
Yeah, she killed it, man.
Oh,
everybody killed it in there.
Oh,
you know what I didn't like in there? The whisper talking cop. That's the only character that I'm like, all right, man, get the fuck off this screen. Everybody else I like.
I'm right there with you. Could you get a guy who doesn't have, who actually has a voice box? Is this your friend? Did you get your friend to fill this role? Did he have bronchitis?
You better keep your nose clean, because I'll be right there if anything happens.
You know what I mean? Dude, did you quit smoking yesterday now that you're 90? What?
Everybody else was excellent, man.
Everybody else besides that cop. I agree. Like, dude.
Even Vic, Vic, even though I didn't like how they did Vic, I think like
it was needed.
It paid off because I really thought like I said inside of that post, like, all right, he the foil to his character. Let's see. He's the one with the development throughout the show, right?
Yes.
So he had the chance to go from being like a nobody to
Penguin stays the same through the whole thing to add to your thing.
Everybody else stays the same. Don't nobody change.
Victor is evolving through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Brilliant.
He's not fast enough, man. Penguin is a fucking scum. Oz is a
fucking hug, man. Always be wary of hugs with gangsters. Be wary of gangster hugs. It may be the title of this podcast, because I swear to God, I saw that. I was like, no, Vic. No. It's the boa constrictor. It's the boa. Oh, we got him in the boa.
Vic ain't even fight back, man. Like, scratch him or something. Do something, Vic. Come on.
He didn't even, like, do the, like, I have DNA under my fingernails. It's almost like, but I don't want it. I don't want him to be tied to my murder. It's almost like he still has loyalty to the end. He doesn't even like dig his fingernails in. He's just like, but you know what?
Yeah, I hate him again. All over again.
He is my boss.
Fight for your life. What are you doing?
He has such progression. And then there's just this, we did this, Oz. I'm one of the team. Like, he's going to be main man.
See, I'm not up on this, so I didn't know. Like, I was thinking, like, okay, maybe Vic is like a character from the series, or they're going to use him as a character, a villain or something like that.
I thought that.
I wonder what they're going to use Sophia for. They obviously ain't done with her, right?
There is Sophia and Penguin. Penguin, I saw Colin Farrell is signed to all 3 Matt Reeves Batman movies. So Sophia is going to be involved in, obviously, Batman Part 2. Like how it was very much Penguin. This series was Penguin and what happened to Gotham after Batman and Riddler's battle. You know, it got flooded through. We got this backstory, this flashback of Vic and his family and how it was a normal family.
The way that wave just swept the whole building, knocked it down, like that was.
There's certain things in our history, recent, to us history that ties off of, and it's like, no, your family can be swept away like that, and especially with a seawall like that,
can be swept away
with a seawall like that.
Pretty easy too, in like a matter of seconds, man. It was crazy to see with all those storms. So I mean,
because he was just partying with his friends that he wasn't supposed to be. He was supposed to be down with his family. He was supposed to die, and that's where you get Vic at the beginning of this series. Is I was supposed to die. My family's dead. I got Squid and his gang. I'm gonna start running with him so I can survive. And then Penguin takes him under his wing because he has a stutter, and Penguin sees this kid with a disability, just like he does. Like, because he has the club foot. And Colin Farrell's acting only adds to that.
Let's not get it twisted. Penguin did not see a little wounded bird. Penguin saw a victim when he saw him. He said, "I'm in a bad spot." Because even after he shot the whatever the dude name was,
he was kind of looking for a patsy though.
He's like, right. So now, like, the wheels are spinning.
After I got this kid.
Laughing, like, yeah, pussy. I'm a penguin, huh? Oh.
So he reacts to this anger and shoots Alberto Falcone. Now he has Vic, and he's like, oh, this is perfect. In his mind, once they get to the end spot, he was like, I was really planning on killing you. He's being honest with him.
No, I was going to kill you right here, man. This is where it started.
This is
the
where
same-
your life was gonna end.
Is that where they ended back up at? Was that the same spot where he?
No, they ended up by the river. Is where he did the
Yeah.
best friend hug. We'll call it.
So they did.
The
Okay.
penguin best friend hug. Like, come here. And I really, really love you. Please
Penguin
don't.
cuddle.
Please don't love me. It's okay. Don't. You're not going to be able to breathe for a bit.
Penguin cuddle. Boy.
The penguin cuddle. Oh, man. Because Vic is so loyal throughout this whole series. Like, Penguin, that's the brilliance of Colin Farrell's Penguin character, is that he does not care about anybody else.
No, he a demon.
Besides
He's a
his
devil.
besides his
mom
mother.
called it right.
And his mother doesn't even love him.
His
She
mom
doesn't
called
even
it
like
right.
him. She
You
fucking,
are
oh
the
my
devil,
God.
And
We're-
I should have killed you that night.
The fucking backstory, the flashback, once we actually get to see what sets Colin Farrell's Penguin apart from Danny DeVito's and any other Penguin that we've seen, is that from a child, he was a monster. He killed his brothers because he had they were making fun of his club foot. So he left them to die in a water overflow tunnel.
Yep. And just sat there. I thought for a second, like, okay, maybe he just locked them in there and went home for the night, didn't know that it was going to fill up and it was going to drown. But they made it very clear, like
He and mom cuddle up on the couch. They get blankets. He's looking at mom like, you're all mine.
Cookies
And
he goes some milk and cookies while his brothers is drowning. It's great. That was crazy, man.
it was when you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like how they sell this character is so demonic. You know, and then after that, the big thing with the Penguin is that is what explains his character when he's in our normal time, you know, of the story, because he's trying to get his drug game. He's trying to get this bliss on the streets. He gets it on there, and a backfire happens with the Maronis and the Falcones. And the Maronis and the Falcones are very big in the Batman world, especially with Gotham, because they're the two warring crime families. They're always warring. And with Carmine Falcone dead, Alberto Falcone dead, there's this whole war struggle in this series that plays out very well. It's almost very Grand Theft Auto, you know, very, you know, Godfather. It's along the same lines of how a kind of mob family would dissolve after the head was just cut off. And with Sophia popping in there, you know, one of the minor things that I did see is obviously Carmine Falcone was recast in this series. From the guy who played him in the Batman Matt Reeves film. He didn't want to be tied to it because of the abuse towards women. So admirable, but somebody is going to step into that spotlight for the role.
What's admirable about that, bro? It's a movie. You're acting, and it's not like it wasn't even no crazy scenes in there with him. You know what I mean? Like extreme.
It wasn't
crazy
extreme. It's probably just something more. I would more or less. It just tied him up morally. You know, somewhere to where he's like, I don't want to be tied to that.
The events was extreme. I'm just talking about like the actual job of the actor himself.
Oh no,
Like,
him himself. It's not like he was like choking her out and like punching her in the face, you know? It was just like, you know, well, no, baby, your mom is dead and you have to go this way. So it was a lot of subtlety, and it wasn't like overt or grotesque. It was, you know, all in.
It was well implied and well executed,
Yes,
I think.
all for the story to sell. This is what. So if she saw her mother die, essentially, and then her father put her in the loony bin, where she just stayed until once he died, she got out, and now she's like, "Oh my God."
Man. Her whole stand there was insane, man. She's such a tragic character.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
She is the ultimate tragic character. I mean, especially as we progress in this.
She's a victim of Penguin, for real, for real. That's what it really comes down to.
Yes, she is a victim of Penguin.
She's a victim of Eyes, man. He's a
demon. That's the whole theme of the story, is all these people who are victims of Oz, because you look at the guy who was Hellboy and, you know, Salvatore Moroni in this series, you know, and he was just like, Oz is like, no, I got this idea, got this tip, this big drug game's coming into town. We're all going to make money. I got this. It's 100% solid. And then all of a sudden, he's burning his wife and son to a crisp.
Yeah. See, Oz got the silver tongue, man. He got a mean talk game. This dude talked his way out of like 5 death situations just by working somebody's ear.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's had a gun in his mouth.
He caught dead to rights with a gun in his mouth. The mumbles again. He could mumble.
All right, man. Pull the gun out. I like what he's saying. Yeah, man. That John, man. See, I'm worried now because you said that the next 3 films is going to have Penguin and everything. Well, you have the second one he's going to be in. He said that he's going to be in like 5 scenes. So it's not like he's overtly in it. You know, you can have a couple scenes, especially since I think Matt Reeves said that he's trying to work in the Court of Owls, which is a really good plot point for this kind of Batman. You know, we're not getting those villains beat over the head. But if you're looking at 3 films and you have another spot for another series, do you do a Penguin series 2? Do you do another villain? You know, there's a lot of questions in the mix for this.
Penguin done. Let Penguin be finished. Because you did everything that you need to do to establish him as more than just a goofy goofball.
Mm-hmm.
He is, you know, like a real mover and shaker inside of Gotham.
But you still saw the fucking Easter eggs. You saw the umbrella by the end of the series. You saw the fucking nice jacket. You saw the hat, top hat,
and all of that. But
oh my God,
it's too much other stuff. See, let's see where Matt Reeves really at, man. Is you a gangster or not? Are you going to just stick with gangster shows, or are you going to give us some of these meta humor? Like, what can you do with Mr. Freeze?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Man.
What can you do with Killer Croc, or you know, one of them more
Clayface?
Yeah, Clayface or something like.
I was thinking, like,
if you can do something now, he'll be a legend if he can make. Clayface might even be a safe bet for him for the style that he's been going with.
I thought that too,
but it can't all just be Batman's villains. Is more than just, you know, crazy weirdos, and
they're part of his psychology.
Yeah, he got to go up against some meta-humans, man. We haven't seen a whole lot of that inside of Batman's movies in a long time, I don't think. When's the last time Batman?
This is some of the best Batman, especially external Batman, that I've seen in a long time. Penguin just accentuate. Like, I went back and I watched the Batman again because it's so good. It's a true masterpiece film, especially when you're looking at how little the Penguin is in that film. And then he's like, no, we're going to do a Penguin film. And like I said, I was like, who's going to want a Penguin film? Who's going to want a Penguin series?
No, that's
I'm
cool.
100% down because they're tying it to the mob scene. They're tying it to a Gotham underbelly with the Maronis. It's not he was up here as this elite. He was an everyday man. He was a guy who's getting a job. He was a driver. He was that that underling. He wasn't he wasn't a boss. He worked his way to where he was. And then he brought it back to the community. And that's what gave him this kind of anti-hero vibe, which I guess is what really sells that. But by the end, and just the subtle undertones in his, delivery and how he says things, in his actions, in certain scenes that happen, there's this demented person underneath. And with Vic, it's almost like it's his innocence that he's trying to keep alive in this series. He's trying to keep
Vic
this
is the innocence that
it's Oz's innocence, and he's trying to keep, and he's just kind of trying to guide him.
I completely disagree with that, man. Vic was Oz's fucking scapegoat and punching bag throughout the entire series. Now, from Vic's point of view, Oz is like a father figure. Oz is looking out for me. Oz is giving me what I need to be a man.
Well, yes, Vic obviously was damaged.
This guy is trash.
He is. Well, we said that. Like everybody he's close to, he just stabs in the back.
And then I'm gonna throw him away. It ain't nothing redeemable about Oswald Cobb, man. We ain't giving him no passes. He was not the son to Vic. Was not his.
If anything, Vic was the hero of the story.
Yeah, and the moment that like you said earlier, Vic knew too much. He had to go. First of all, point blank. And
that's
then besides that,
there was only one way out for him.
Yeah, and the emotions. I mean, no, the other way out would have been like, "Yo, you really."
Oh, and
really
like episode 2 or 4 when his girl was like, "Hey, I'm leaving," and he's like, "Yeah, but I'm hanging out with Penguin though." Yeah, that was his out right there, and he just said, "Bye."
Yeah, he should have left, but I should have made him his right hand man. The boy, he stood up to every other gang in Gotham.
Oh my God!
All the other
very stupidly.
He called them all cowards to their face. Like, y'all ain't trying to help Oz, and Oz put all y'all.
You got that fucking uppercut to the gut. Be like, yo, shut the fuck up if you want to live. But it's your neighborhood too.
The murder montage was corny. All the the whatever BPs or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Like, that was corny, but I mean, like, I get it. Everybody was on it. And it made sense with the whatever the triads or whatever they was, because they was.
Yes, but
they focused in on them enough for it to.
The main thing was Sophia and Salvatore, because after there was a lot of playback in between Penguin, Sophia, and Salvatore. Penguin started off with a deal with Salvatore. Shit didn't go right. He barbecued his family. Okay, so now Salvatore feels some type of way. All right, very honestly so. Penguin barbecued his family. He didn't order that. All right? He ordered a la mode. So you then have Sophia going to Salvatore at a certain point when she realizes this is an ally, and they start going after Penguin. Penguin is feeling pressured. He gets pushed back. Vic is the person, like we said, who was closest to Penguin. But this is the point I want to point out, is that they still kept Penguin's deep tie to his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Penguin has always had, in several different iterations, a deep tie to his mother, that it was, he was taking care of her. I think one of the first ones was, I don't know where it was, but one of the first ones I saw was in Gotham, the TV show, and it was Penguin
The
and his
animated
mom.
series too.
Yes,
Batman the animated series.
yes, that too. Like I said,
Yeah.
there's been a whole bunch of them.
My comic book knowledge is not there, but you want to talk about cartoons and then I can rock with you. I know in the animated series they definitely had that, and they really took it inside of Penguin and just stretched it out to the max. Like they really dissected every little piece of lore and history that the Penguin is, that makes him the character who he is, all of his backstory, and that base that people go to when they want to write the stories and see how he would act in situations. They took all of that and dissected it and just shined it up and made it real, like presented it very well inside of the series.
Like this whole series is like somebody went through it with a very fine scope and analyzed it from a fan's perspective, because when, like we're saying, you look at the Maronis and the Carmines and the Falcones rather, and you look at, and all the drama that you have in this series, and then you look at what it is in the scope, which is Penguin trying to deal with his mom issues, and Penguin, he's not able to see that his actions of killing his brothers in a fucking trolley overflow tunnel might have made his mom a little pissed. And then the big reveal by the end is that she didn't love him. She wanted to murder him. She saw him as a devil. She saw what the fuck he was. She says, the devil is living in my house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he sat there with a smile, with a little chunky cheek smile, while his fucking brothers was drowning, and then was enjoying it too. Like after the fact, like I get mom all to myself now.
It wasn't even like that bad of a joke. Like they just went down to another level. Which, first off, clubfoot, go up a level. Don't go down. If you're gonna tease someone with a club foot, don't. But that's not the lesson. But my point is like they went down. They were like, "Come on, man, we're joking. Nah, don't lock the door. Why are you locking the door? Come on." And then he's just sitting there eating buttered popcorn, watching his favorite movie with his mom. And then the movie.
But that search was going on for days. He knew where they was at for days.
Oh yeah, he just sat on.
And he's just like, "Hey, mom, I'll make you breakfast. I'll do your errands. I got you, mom. Don't worry about it, mom."
She's just sitting in the bedroom like, "Oh my God, this little fucking psychopath is making me breakfast every day."
His mom recognized him as a devil and made a deal with him anyway. In the club, when the guy that he looks up to, that's his hero, was about to take him for that ride by the river.
Last ride. And that's the thing that was crazy about it, because he saw that, and as you're watching the series, you see it as him saying, "You know what?" I think he says it to Vic. "I remember my mom taking me to see. I remember the first time I saw live music. My mom, she just said, 'Get your suit on.' We went out, and then this memory that was,
core memory.
It was a core memory that was just one of his happy memories. You see, turn so dark that when his mom is like verbally abusing him and telling him what she really thinks, he doesn't even register it. He just says, Mom, I told you I was going to put you in a penthouse. And he puts her in a penthouse in a vegetative state, which she did not want to be in.
Right. Now you stuck. You trapped in your own body because you made the deal already. You don't get out easy. You don't get off for, you're not the victim, lady. She pushed him to be and helped mold him into exactly what he is.
She was running the numbers. She was running the numbers for the guy, but that was his in. That's all I needed.
No, that's what I thought it was going to be at first. When they went out, I thought she was like, "All right, we're gonna go out. You about to be in the game.
Yeah,
you all I got left, and I don't really care about you no more. You about to run with these gangsters and go bring back my money." But it was really no, we about to get rid of you. And then she made the deal. I guess after his speech, it turned the other way, and I guess he might have probably started off running numbers and doing small time things, but by the time he was an adult, she whispered in his ear like, "No, you ain't no punk. If you gotta kill every falcone in the city, then that's just what you gotta do."
But to where the weak points in the Penguin early on, he's going to his mom and she's just like, "You ain't no weak pussy boy." She's pushing him like,
yeah,
you're not the guy that fucking killed my babies. You got to be that guy. Like, she's pushing him to be that person. That
I think it really because she hated him. I think it was hatred. Like I just like
a mother doesn't normally say that.
I have no sympathy for you at all.
Yeah,
stop being a pussy.
Yeah,
if they punch you, you shoot them. And then whatever happened to you, I don't care. I don't even like you.
I don't remember raising a pussy boy, do I? Right. There's that point in this in there where she's like laying in bed with him and she's just like, "Get off of me." And he's like trying to comfort his mom, saying, "No, I'm going to take care of you." And she just completely like the relationship between Oswald and his mom really comes out in this in a different tone and a different light, because it was always, mom was as fucked up as Oswald in the past, but this one is, mom was fucked up, but she still realized, like, oh my God, I'm raising a fucking monster. And this is the story of the Penguin and how he became that. And
my memory of her is just like an old lady with like that's not all there. I think like a nightgown and a pearl necklace, talking about let's go paint the town red.
Yes.
And and Oz was just doing it all to try to keep his family where she at, but she's just always in her head. She ain't know she was living inside of a rundown apartment building or whatever. She thought, and in the animated series, that she still lived in whatever castle they lived in.
Yes,
they used to live in. So
it was a nice transference from what that was traditionally to a new character platform for Oz. Because it transformed the character to where this is a person you could see in, any major city, in any kind of gangster film. And this is just a guy with a club foot who, he's an opportunist. He's going to tell you what you want to hear, and he's going to play to his best tune.
How the underdog really make it out there in them streets.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's not pretty. It's not a pretty climb to the top. But Vic almost got it back then when remember when he was playing nursemaid for Oz's mom?
Yes.
when he was pretending to be her sons.
Yes. And he was like, "Don't do that."
Yeah, in hindsight that hit a little bit different because
yeah,
that's my mom. That's my mom. That's my love. That's my affection. What are you doing?
Don't tell her that. I mean, and you don't want to play into those fantasies when people in that kind of mental cloud are like that.
Right.
But it's also that point of like, what are you doing? No, you're just supposed to do what I tell you. You're not supposed to take care of my mom like I would.
It's a double entendre.
It's mine.
That scene has two layers on it. Because on the one hand, like, no, that's not helping, that's hurting.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, bro, I killed my brothers because I wanted to be an only child. I'm not about to just, start bringing in new applicants for
It's
the
also
part.
so fitting why he kills him, because he killed his brothers.
Yeah.
Like, Vic, do you not see the fucking writing on the wall at all? Like, come on, man. He killed his brothers. Come on, man. It's me and you. Feel like we're brothers. Just gonna slowly hug your neck until you don't actually give a fuck anymore. And then, Victor Alvarez. That picture, it was so cinematic because he pulls his ID out just like he did in the beginning. And then he just tosses it away.
I'm done with you. Wipe my hands.
I want to see Victor Alvarez. I want to see that ID card pop up on, like, Batman's, desk under a Penguin file to where Batman found the fucking ID.
Yeah.
And add that into the level of that next Batman movie. I mean, I'm more excited about the next Batman Matt Reeves film at this point than I am at,
They got any information
what James Gunn is
about
doing.
it?
Because you have Batman Brave and the Bold, to where you have Batman, Damon Wayans, not Damian Wayans, completely different guy. But Damon Wayans, oh God, it's still it just feels dirty. Batman's kid, and
Damien.
yeah.
I'm talking about a Living Color or Batman. Which one?
God damn, I can't get the names right. But you have Batman's kid, Damon. God damn, I don't know. One of them. One of the Wayans brothers is going to be in the movie. No.
Wayne.
My God, wouldn't that be weird? If Marlon Wayans just shows up and he's Batman's kid. Or Damon. I mean, what's he doing? Is he available?
It's going to be a short run of the DC EU Part 2. Trying to do that.
I feel like James Gunn is going more lighthearted, and I feel like that Matt Reeves is going more cinematic like Christopher Nolan was doing, because the Christopher Nolan Batman series was really good. We got Heath Ledger Joker, to where if we're looking at a secondary series, if they don't go with Penguin for another season, I would like them to do Two-Face. Or, one of the other rogues gallery that has that kind of story that we haven't really explored, like Penguin. I don't want it to be like Joker, or
I just want it to be. I just don't want it to be the same thing again. Batman, okay, you can stick to the detective aspect of Batman because that seemed like what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
I solve cases, and this is the case that I'm solving. So I can see him doing that with another character or whatever. So yeah, but as far as series, like, I would like to see him come out of his comfort zone a little, somewhat, even if it's with Deathstroke. Like a military. There's a military threat. All of a sudden, I'm not like it's not a gangster running around. It's not just
and Deathstroke is invulnerable, slash like has a healing ability like Deadpool. That's
right.
where Deadpool came from. So that is a fucking threat.
High tech armor and all of that. Like, then you got, like I said, I personally want to see Mr. Freeze.
Yes,
because I think it'd be challenging.
Dude, I think if you took Mr. Freeze and you did like almost like the one Batman animated series where they introduced Mr. Freeze, I forget the title of the
Nora.
I forget the title of the episode though, because it's such that episode of Batman the animated series though. It was so beautiful because it added this level of complexity to Mr. Freeze to where he wasn't just this maniacal mad scientist. He was trying to save his wife who had this terminal illness. And I think that would add a nice flair to a series to where you can go through with Mr. Freeze. Just like Two-Face, I feel. You can have, with either of those characters, you can have a nice series to where you can actually explore, like with Penguin,
Two-Face,
how they exist in this Matt Reeves universe.
They can get busy with Two-Face. Two-Face, I think he can have fun with that all the way up until it comes time. Not Two-Face, I'm sorry, Clayface, I was thinking.
Yes. Well, still, we mentioned Clayface before, too.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Clayface would be fucking... Oh, my God. That would be...
They did Two-Face twice already, man. I don't need to do Two-Face a third time.
That's true. That's true. And it's the same thing with, like, Joker. You already did that many times. So,
like
steering away from that. They didn't do Penguin.
Penguin was surprising. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is almost like a joke. The character is like, out of the rogues that he fight, Penguin is kind of a joke.
What about Poison Ivy?
Maybe not in the comic. In the comics, they probably got some wild shit going on inside.
Well, what about... I mean, Penguin has always been kind of a joke, but they tried to make him a mobster. But what about Poison Ivy? I mean, Poison Ivy has this kind of nature, and they already kind of alluded to it with the Bliss being from a mushroom. You can easily do a Poison Ivy.
Right. But don't just make... If you're going to do Poison Ivy, Matt, don't just make her like some crazy lady with like insecticide spray or something like that. You know what I mean?
No, it's
like
gonna be a spray bottle with like
a scientist
that
with a
single
that
like really strong
spray
stream. She's like, hey, no.
I need Batman to get pressed. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta go up against.
No, man. Batman's gonna be taken down by a single bottle sprayer. Be like, hey, sit.
Right.
He's gonna be tamed like a fucking dog.
Because even though Batman is a detective and all of that, and you know, like they got the dark and the brute and all of that down, but he's also a man that goes up against impossible odds and comes out on top. So, like, I want to see 30-foot plant tentacles with 10-foot thorns swiping around that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to do something like that because of the world that you created is so grounded
and real. Yeah,
Batman has always been the ground level character that fights above his weight class. So show it to us, man. Like, if you really that guy. If you not, then that's cool. It's because you're doing great. So, you know, like, don't risk it all for me. But if you can do that, you will be a legend because I ain't seen nobody do it yet. You know, who's done it? What live action Batman really did it like that?
I mean, I'm just outside of like the mobster type. I'm really trying to think of who else in the Batman Rogues Gallery could really offer a series like Penguin. And I mean, you could do Joker, but with Joker, I would want to see like him take out, you know, Jason Todd with the crowbar and get that real deep, dark Batman feel. But like with a villain, Clayface, I feel like is an open book. When you look at like Scarface with, you know, the whole, what is it? The puppetry. Fuck, I'm forgetting the name of it.
The Red Hood would be a good one.
Red Hood, yeah. I mean, Killing Joke.
But you need
3 Jokers. Give me 3 Jokers, dude.
Yeah.
You know, give me something like, you know, out of that. If you're just giving me, like with the Matt Reeves stuff, if you're just giving me a character, like what character? I mean, Black Mask. Are you Hush?
Like Mask, more gangsters. Hush is more Riddler.
Hmm.
You know, like
Where are you going? I mean,
Harley
Mr.
Quinn.
Freeze is
They could
really,
do something with
honestly,
Harley.
the most perfect pick for that. Is, because he has an emotional tie, which they haven't touched on. He is a villain he's trying to save his wife, and he's trying to do anything. So if anything, he's almost still a B-level villain to somebody manipulating him, right? But you still have a interesting series in that.
Yeah, they gonna probably. I mean, like they could always go with like Victor Zaz or like Calendar Man, just one of the psychopaths serial killers that he got to deal with,
Yeah.
or Black Mask, like you said. Um, Prometheus. No, that's too deep. That's
Yeah, I
too
mean,
far into the
there was
mystery
there was
stuff.
talk about them adding the Court of Owls, but
Yeah, like you said, that'll be good because the Court of Owls is basically super soldiers, with, like
yeah,
regenerating powers and all that stuff. So I just don't
super
want you to make a
soldiers
regular
that
guy.
are corpses, like reanimated
Yeah,
corpses that are super
right.
soldiers. They're a little bit over Steve Rogers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
at least a bar above Steve Rogers because they don't actually need to eat.
yeah. They damn near Solomon Grundy's.
And you just,
Batman versus Deadshot would be crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but with look, with like Deathstroke,
Deadshot is
Deathstroke, because you mentioned Deadshot, but Deathstroke, I would want him involved in a Teen Titans
wow. So you can see him
because there was
popping up
that one
again.
line of the Judas Contract with Teen Titans. There's always with the Teen Titans. There's this big thing with Deathstroke always being like this overimposing like villain for them, and I feel like that would be a really good one for like a Teen Titans movie, live action movie. You look at these anime and nerds looking at the anime like, oh man, why can't they do that in live action? That would be one of the ones, Judas Contract, where the Teen Titans are trying to overcome Deathstroke to actually get that done right in live action. I think would be good
I forgot
for a
about.
series.
Now I forgot about the Mad Hatter.
Oh man, Mad Hatter.
It
Yeah.
might be good. Or Killer Croc. Killer Croc would.
Killer
Can you
Croc,
get a
dude.
whole? I don't know. Like, does Killer Croc have any like full arcs of story, or is he just like a in and out
He just always
character?
seemed like the in and out kind of like mutant character that was,
Yeah,
just on the
scared to
run.
get
There was,
punched in the mouth.
you remember that one episode in Batman the Animated Series to where he was like hanging out with the circus
Hmm.
and they accepted him and they were like, he was like, this is a great thing. And then all of a sudden, his good life got interrupted because, oh yeah, by the way, you're wanted federally. By the way, dickhead, you need to account for all the murders and people you ate. But no, Killer Croc would be a really good. I think Killer Croc could fit that too.
Yeah, but they're not going to add them in there. Like, let's just keep it real. It
They're
ain't
going
going to
for
be
more
nothing.
realistic. I mean, how do
It's
you
all
add
humans
Killer
inside
Croc
of it.
in realistic?
It's all humans inside of his thing. They ain't adding no mutants, no metahumans.
Yeah.
Just crazy people.
You don't have Flash. And that's where I do kind of have faith in James Gunn because he's adding in all that ridiculous stuff. He's doing that stuff to connect the worlds that will make everything make sense between animated and live action and all that. He's trying, like Creature Commandos, I think, is one of the first ones, one of the first projects he's doing that
Talking
is
about the one that's
animated.
dropping in December.
Yeah, it's animated, but it's still canonically in with his universe.
Right.
So we have Superman. Legacy that is coming out, as well as a whole bunch of stuff with DC. So we'll have to see what comes out with James Gunn. But when we're looking at Matt Reeves and him actually getting the chance to just let his 3-movie deal universe expand, which he was probably grandfathered into this 3-movie deal. Like, hey, guess what? Old regime said I can do 3 movies. All right, people like it. Why not? Keep going. And now
Well, no,
with
they
Penguin,
two separate things, right?
mm-hmm.
The Batman don't got nothing to do with James Gunn universe.
Well, especially because he's making his own. He's making his own Batman with Brave and the Bold. So you look at this. This is an Elseworlds kind of. It's
Close the door, son.
It's an Elseworlds kind of answer to this. It's not. It's not just like we're just having this as a side story that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's now this is Elseworlds, so this universe could possibly pop up if they were doing like a cinematic, Crisis on Infinite Earths, because Lord knows they love to have a Crisis on Infinite Earths every once in a while.
You don't want the Batman. Don't want no parts of no Crisis on Infinite Gotham's, let alone Infinite Earths.
It's just
it is a threshold. Like Batfleck was getting busy a little bit, right?
I love.
But even him,
Ben
like
Affleck
they don't know what to do with
favorite.
Batman, because when Doomsday came around, like, what are you even here for? You contribute absolutely nothing. Where like they'll have him in a vehicle or something like that.
Yeah,
Just
but
shooting,
Ben Affleck was more of a Frank Miller kind of Batman.
Yeah.
And that's where that kind of differentiated, to where that was like a deep cut, like vinyl, and that was especially with Zack Snyder. There's a certain type of fans that kind of grungy '90s like Batman that's their comic Batman. I mean, Dark Knight. That was one of the first comic series that I went to a Comic-Con in Delaware. I think it was like Delaware's first Comic-Con or first state Comic-Con. Walked in there, and it was in like a grab bin. It was like all of Frank Miller Batman, and I grabbed it for like $5. Read it, loved it, and when I saw the Zack Snyder stuff, that was one of the things that really tied in there, because he ties in a lot of stuff, especially when you look at the animated stuff, like with the New Adventures of Batman, or I think it was even Batman Beyond, that did that tie-in to the Frank Miller Batman. There's a lot in there with Batman lore that you can almost start a fucking college class on. On all the fucking different people who are involved in it. But when you look at this series, it's completely new.
Was James Gunn was the one that had Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting the Call Obsidian, right? And all of them. Thanos' goons. Was that James Gunn that had them doing that, or was that a different?
No, that was who was that?
Whoever the director was behind that. If it was James Gunn, then I would have said that
It was something. It wasn't James Gunn, but it was a similar name on it. I'm brain farting on the person who did it. I know what you're talking about, though.
It's all right. Credits to whoever did it, but that's the kind of template that they need to do with Batman.
James Gunn. You're talking about Guardians. Yeah. No.
It is James Gunn.
James Gunn. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, he's good at creating situations where regular people aren't made irrelevant around superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to do with No, that's what I want to see with Batman inside of a live action. Because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to seeing Batman go to Apocalypse with the Justice League and fight Darkseid and like the
Even though
Perjangers
he's a
and all
normal
these
human,
things.
he is prepared to fight this alien who has
Right.
this laser death stare that can just make a 90-degree turn at any whim.
Right.
You know?
He's not only is he prepared, but he's a valued member of the team that, like it's a good thing we had Batman with us. We might not have made it out of this.
Yeah.
That's Superman and the Flash and Wonder Woman saying that. And they mean it when they say it. So I mean, like, don't just have him there if he gonna spend the whole time trying not to get his head knocked off. Right?
Yeah.
Because if that's then just start a charity, Bruce. Like, what are you doing out here? Stay inside the Little League, go fight Penguin. You don't want no parts of this.
I mean, I do kind of want Victor Freeze involved in the next series of Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman, because I think he would be the perfect person for that, and especially, you'll have Catwoman, obviously, because Catwoman revealed, "Hey, I'm your half sister," and while Sophia's in, Arkham, and she's like, "Sissy."
So is Sophia Falcone Gigante a comic book character?
Yes. In the comics, she married into the Gigantes, but in this series, they flipped it around. And I do believe in the comics that Selena Kyle was Carmine Falcone's daughter because, obviously, mobster. He slept around. So they are half sisters, and both are fucked up. I mean, obviously with daddy issues. I don't know where from.
Ooh, you know who they could? They could have Batman Rumble and what's the Kane? Something Kane? What's the female martial artist that be tearing Batman ass up in the comic books?
Oh.
I can't remember her name, man, but she is like a league above Batman. I think her last name is Kane.
No, but you could
Cassandra
also
Kane. There we go. Cassandra
yes,
Kane.
yes. But I was also thinking you could also get Talia al Ghul and get Raish in there, and the whole and
somebody
because
to
they're
show
already
off
going
the
to have.
martial arts.
If you're starting off
at Batman,
if you're starting off with Batman having a kid, obviously you're going to be going to Talia. I mean, you have to talk about the kid's mom,
Yeah. I just feel like it's a lot of stuff that's really cool about Batman that never really gets any play. So now that we're talking about it, I think the martial arts side of him doesn't really get hasn't really gotten a chance to shine inside of like on a live action format yet. So that'd be cool, if they really played into it. I mean, like he got hands.
Well, yeah,
they don't never really show him like.
Well, that was one of the best parts about Ben Affleck's Batman. When you look at his actual footage, is he was throwing hands. He was actually, training with truck tires and stuff like that. He was
that warehouse scene was crazy.
He was
when he walked in that warehouse.
That's what you want from your actor, though. You want that passion out of it.
He did that in that scene in the warehouse. What was that? Batman versus Superman?
Yeah.
Scene in the warehouse. He just demolished that group of people. And then after that, they ain't know what else to do with him. So, I mean,
Ben Affleck was probably, I will listen. Ben Affleck was probably he is one of my favorite Batman because it was so comic accurate. When you look at like certain scenes, and that's what I liked about Penguin, that grin at the end after he fucking kills Vic, and he has that grin on his face. It felt like a splash page of just Penguin, just
Yeah,
Almost
and even
Grand
him
Theft
inside
Auto
of
style. Dung, you finish the mission.
even him with the penguin suit tuxedo on, and in the top hat and everything, and the umbrella. It's still like it just makes sense in the character because you just like he's just tacky. He don't know what classy is, and this is his idea of classy.
Got,
Walking around with the fishtails coming out the bottom of your tux. You like a butler, dude.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, he like the Great Gatsby.
Like the
That's
Great
his
Gatsby.
idea.
Old
His
chum.
idea of classy.
And
the real classy, and the people that really got money be like, yeah, this dude, like I know he's
yes,
tacky, right?
yes. And that's that kind of feel that you get from the Penguin, though. But you get that you get that feel from this character, and that's where if you're going to, have 2 more movies with this feel, I'm down. I mean, I just think Victor Freeze is the best next up.
Oz is like picking up a cup and it's like a layer of oil, cooking oil or something on the cup. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ew, you fucking.
Like, you get one of them in there, like, what a touch. Ew.
I don't know. I mean, they thought he was trash, and he proved them wrong, man. But now we deep into the video of the episode.
I mean,
a fucking block exploded in Gotham, and Bruce Wayne just.
Where the fuck was Batman? Sophia literally detonated a bomb in a whole city block. Just boom, just dropped. And where the fuck was Batman? I didn't see a goddamn batarang around there.
And you know what's crazy? They really don't care. Bruce must not be at the point where he actually care about people, I guess. Because
Batman doesn't give a shit about Crown Point. That's what we found out.
Repair efforts for the flood damage inside of the city.
That's what's fucked up about it, because Penguin cares more about Crown Point than Batman. Penguin got the power turned on in Crown Point.
Right.
Penguin got that done.
Bruce supposed to be right on that.
Bruce Wayne, the guy who has infinitesimal amount of money, who could have just said, snap my fingers and that power is on to help those people. Nothing. But the supposed villain of the film, where, all right, he's a bit murdery. But if you get past that, he's kind of a good guy.
The devil. That's an apt description of the devil. That's his campaign slogan. Like, yeah, I'm a bit murdery, your turtle souls, whatever. I'm not that bad a guy when you get to know me. Just like, give me a chance. It'll be all right.
Exactly. As a man speaking with a devil goatee, I can tell you.
Yep. And next thing you know, you get in that penguin cuddle. Right? Yeah, I will not be fooled, my guy. I'm sorry. I see it for what it is, man.
That penguin cuddle.
Bro, I can't meet you under the bridge next to the river. Just text me. I'm tired, man. We did a lot of work. I'm going home to get some sleep. I'll see you tomorrow, Oz.
The fucking penguin cuddle, man. I just imagine like the pop-ups of like Nat Geo specials, and it's just like a penguin choking out another penguin. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Shh. I mean, fuck, man. Birds are fucking assholes, I think, is our message here. But
all right, so what are we looking at, man? What is your synopsis? What is your opinion? Is it dope or is it nope? Is it nope? Is it dope?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think that this series expands out the character of the Penguin to the point that it feels fresh. It feels new. While going back to even tropes that we've seen in other films and, TV series, that it still feels new when you watch it. It feels like something you don't have to know who the Penguin is. You don't have to watch the Matt Reeves Batman. You can just watch this series if you're a fan of like gangster mob stuff, and you'll be entertained.
Mhm.
And this may be your intro into comic books that you didn't realize is, oh, it can be multi-layered story to where you can have this, deeply complex main character like Penguin and have him love his mother so much that he doesn't realize that she hates him because he's so egotistical and maniacal and just devious that he's getting his way one way or the other. And it doesn't matter who's in his way, whether it be his mother or anybody else. And you expand on that character, you get this story. And it fits. And I think that it's something that can expand out the culture of comic books because it's not looking at Penguin being this character that we have always seen, and he has to be this way. This is a series that is expanding out and saying, you know what? What if we actually made him interesting? Like some of the video games do. What if we expand on this kind of, mobster mentality? How does a man get to that? Well, we already have plenty of movies that show us that way. Let's see what we can do. So I'd say that this is a series that you don't even have to be a comic book fan. You just have to be a fan of that mobster movie, and you'll enjoy yourself with this one. So I'd say it's definitely a dope.
Yep. And for me, it's a dope for me. You got my one gripe earlier in the episode, so I ain't going to repeat that. I think that is great that they took a character that's kind of like a periphery character, like a not serious character, one of those guys that's there to just take a punch in the face at the end of their episode, and they never really get like a major, never really got like a major arc, or they're not really ever like like a high level threat. Penguin is a jewel thief. He's a bank robber. He's a petty mobster, but he ain't like the big time guy. In my experiences with the character,
I mean,
right?
he wasn't like
But
poisoning the water supply in Gotham like Joker.
yeah, but I mean, like that's just my experiences with the character. But they took all of my experiences with the character, everything that I knew about the character. When they say they grounded inside of reality, they really pull it down, and they make you take a second look at things like, yeah, you heard it, but did you really think about what that really looks like? And okay, well, let me show you what that really looks like and why this is a really interesting character. So just off of the strength of that alone is definitely dope to me.
I mean, it's thought thought provocative. It gets you thinking when you watch this series because you can relate to Sophia. You
Mm-hmm.
she saw something that she shouldn't have. And then she wrongly got put into a mental institution for a long time to where she did not have an easy life and she had to fight and claw her way. You have Penguin who had to fight and claw his way the whole time. And you have these two characters that are striving towards greatness. And they have a piece in Batman history. So you're just like, all right, where is this going? How does this fit into what you're doing? And I think there's, rightly so, a lot of stuff with the next Batman movie that are really it's really going to get a lot of nerds very excited for. I would say probably more excited than Joker Folie à Deux. And
Yeah.
because that was being touted as like the worst fucking movie ever. Dude,
Purposely bad, like intentionally terrible. They did it on purpose.
I feel like I don't want to, but I feel like
They
we're gonna
said
have
people
to.
they said people liked the first one too much, and it was not my intention to make this,
How dare you like
old
what I
shooter
do?
energy character a beloved, figure.
That's a
Let me go
future fucking
ahead.
episode. I'm telling you right now, gang. We have to talk about that movie. If everybody is saying it is bad, we can't just keep talking about dope shit. All right, we have to get some
I ain't
dope
talking
shit.
about dope shit.
We
I ain't
gotta
talking about
we
dope
gotta
shit.
talk about
But
this one.
what we gotta do is define something that we disagree on, so we can fucking argue past that one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, no, we do. And that's why I want you to pick the next episode of this series. And I want you to take time on it. I want you to, think about it and pick something.
It's gonna be hard for me because I'm an easy to please guy, man. I tried to convince myself that the Joker was okay, but I was more confused by the time I was leaving than anything. And,
I didn't even watch the Joker. I just
oh no, then
knew.
that's gonna be the next one because now I'm gonna make you watch it.
I
watched
didn't.
it, now you gotta watch it.
I didn't
Well,
even.
have fun.
I knew it was going to be a dumpster fire, so it's just like, no, I'm not.
That's your homework.
I'm not paying money for that.
And
not,
you're gonna have to pay for it.
I
Because we do it next weekend. It's not streaming yet, so you gotta buy it on.
Yeah, but
on
if it's a
$14.99.
rental, that's still less money than a movie. I mean, you got to figure like a movie ticket is super fucking expensive right now. I mean, even for two people. You used to be able to go out to the movies for like $20 for two people. Now, no. I remember she's in her own zone, but Agent McCullough now, Jill, she fucking took me to Deadpool Wolverine. It was like fucking like $50 or $60 to go to that shit, man. What? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Movies are expensive. That's why we have this streaming platform. So
That's gonna be that's a conversation for another day, man. We'd be here for
years
2
and
hours.
years.
I don't even got the energy to talk about a bad show right now, man.
Well, we have to fucking schedule that time when we talk about Joker Folie à Deux. We got to do it during like a Saturday when we have plenty of time because the first nope of this show, it's got to be that.
That's a no. Nah.
There's levels, okay? So there's levels. It's dope.
That's a hell no.
Nope. Nah, and hell no. All right, we got levels to our grading now. All right, so it's a nice little evolution on the Perjangers and Wallhangers Media Network. We want you guys to make sure to check out everything on the network. Go over to YouTube, type in Perjangers, PERJANGERS, and you will find everything that we do out there. Just like all the podcasts we did, we just did a great podcast with the Lug Nuts podcast. We have a special coming up in the future. We also have a documentary series coming up with life of an indie pro wrestler, Tony Yolanda, who may be popping up in something else I do that I'm directing. And you heard it here first. So as far as podcast and stuff like that, we're going to keep going off on a lot of the fun stuff that we do, like Nope or Dope, like the Eminem podcast, like Lug Nuts podcast, Tales of the Hunted. All of them are coming out. We're going on a 1 per week strategy right now. So, not what I did in the past. I wanted to announce it to you got all the Perjangers and Perjangers and Wallhangers fans now. So you know, like, is he lazy? No, I'm busy cooking in the kitchen. Just hang out there with me. It's only going to get darker from here until it gets, with some light stuff. And we got some big plans in the future. So we want you to make sure to check out anything we do in the future. And of course, I only end off this podcast with the same way. And that's that. Here we go. And that's that. We love you. We miss you. And we can't wait to see you next week. Until then, game on, Wallhangers! Bye-bye!
All right.
Fun.